Hello and welcome to Hendos Helpline?
Helpline.
With me, Hendo.
And me, Jess. We've put out form,
We've put
an
out a
Agony
form,
aunt
yes.
form for our members and the general public to answer and give us some dilemmas and confessions for Hendo to answer. Do you think people will get smarter listening to you give advice? What are your credentials for giving advice right now?
A lot of stuff's gone wrong for me, so I would say that I can tell people how not to do it, maybe, rather than good advice. No.
Can give people advice based on your own experience.
Yeah, that would be it.
Okay. We'll go with the first one. Someone has sent in, my husband wants to get sheep. Should we? You're good to answer this.
Well, personally, I would say yes, because I've got a bit of a bias since I have my own sheep, and that's all I've ever known is sheep, especially if you're already working and you want to do it on the side, because I think, especially with sheep and cattle really, that you've got them sat growing in a field, making you money while you're off doing something else. And they're relatively cheap to get into compared to other business ventures. So yeah, definitely.
Any cons? Any cons having sheep?
Well, there's always the old sayings, everyone says, sheep only live to die or get out. But I think, the majority of the time they're relatively easy.
I don't like sheep.
Depends how much work you do with them, really. Depends how much you care.
Second one's a bit more serious. Somebody's asked us, or asked you, Auntie Hendo, what usually causes people to pull away when things start to get serious?
Oh, that is a lot more.
Yeah.
This is a lot deeper, that. I would say probably be very serious now. Fear of commitment.
Yeah.
Probably.
Just fear of change.
Yeah, I would say, change, commitment, anything that's not the norm. I think a lot of people like their own space and time, and adapting that to fit someone else in can be quite scary for some people, so it forces them to pull away, whether they mean to or not.
I think a lot of time they do, though.
What, mean to?
Well, no, is if you were serious about, if things are getting serious, you either know if you want to commit to it or not.
Well, and I don't know. A lot of the time you think, this is great, like they call it the honeymoon period, didn't they? It's wonderful for a bit, and then all of a sudden you think, this isn't quite as great as it was to start with. And then I think, maybe it's not for me.
But things are serious at that point.
Yeah, so you're in a bit of a mess then.
Yeah.
But, I'm sure there's no bad intentions, really. People change their minds, especially when things do get serious.
Yeah, I suppose. So overall, it is just fear.
I would
just being scared of one thing or another.
I would have said so, yeah.
Light-hearted one. Someone's put, I was stuck in a car with my friend. How do I tell the driver that the music choice could be a lot better in the future? Basically, how do you tell your friend that you don't like their music?
Well, you can either just tell them. If they're your friend, I'm sure they'll be open to, not suggestion, what's the word? Criticism, maybe. If they're not, then, I don't know, you could just say, put me on the Bluetooth,
or say, I really like this song, can I play it for you?
What do you reckon to this? And if it's completely different to their I don't know, say if it's heavy metal, rah, 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 and you listen to Pink Pony Club or something.
Pink Pony Club.
Well, if you like that,
yeah,
you're this is great, and then cogs will start turning their head thinking,
or make a joint playlist for when you're in the car together.
That's a bit.
Yeah, but no, that means
much,
that
it
it depends how much time you spend in the car with people.
I suppose.
Or
just put the radio
if you're always
on.
in the car together going places, just make a playlist that has some of their songs and some of your songs.
Compromise then.
Yeah. Someone acts interested in private but distant in public. What should I do? I think have a conversation, to be honest.
Yeah, you bring it up.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because the longer you don't say something, the longer it festers and gets worse.
Yeah,
that's a horrible word, isn't it? Fester.
They either like you or they don't like you.
Yeah.
And they're stringing you along. So, if they like you in private, they could be doing that to how many different people?
That's true.
And then, if they're not willing to show affection in public.
They might be nervous people, though. I'm giving probably people benefit of the doubt here.
Yeah.
But
it depends how old they are, too. If you've never had, any kind of relationship or something, you don't really know how to act in public.
Serious, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. You don't know how old these people are. Say if you're 15 and there's a lad at Young Farmers that's not he's talking to you on Snapchat, but when you're at a Young Farmers meeting, he's not speaking to you or he won't sit next to you. But it could just be that he doesn't know how to act.
Yeah,
he's never had that.
Yeah, it depends on the person. It depends how confident they are.
Yeah.
I know people that, they wouldn't say boo to a goose. Yeah, like they have a drink and a more like they text you or something, and they're wild. Like you wouldn't believe it. Whereas like some of them, like they just like hide in the corner of the room and they're petrified. But each to their own.
You from your experience.
Each to their own.
What is your go-to never fails pickup line? I feel like that's a good one for you.
Well, I'm not really
Ladies man over here.
I'm not really the pickup line expert. I do know someone who is. I don't think any of them are really.
No, they're not. They don't work for him.
Not very friendly.
He has got a book full of them, though.
Yeah,
yeah,
that'd be quite interesting. I wouldn't say a go-to pickup line, but something that I've sort of have found myself doing if I'm meeting someone for the first time is that classic Joey Tribbiani, "How you doing?" sort of thing.
Oh my god,
bit of eye
that
contact.
Doesn't work if you're not Joey Tribbiani.
Well, you never know. People might think, "Oh my god, Joey Tribbiani does that."
What idiot copies him?
All that, yeah.
I don't think that's a good pickup line.
But it's just, I think.
Do you know when I had Tinder, I used to put in my caption, because I never took it seriously, I said, "Give me your best pickup line." I would get some absolutely crazy ones. They were actually disgusting.
I didn't really have a pickup line on mine, but I had a like a thing in my bio that said, "I never used to like beards, and then they grew on me."
Oh my god, that's just a dad joke.
It was good. And then I had, as one of the pictures, I balanced spirit level on the top of my head.
Oh, I'm a level-headed guy.
It said pretty level-headed guy.
You're not.
Which I think could be credentials for giving out advice.
I don't think balancing a spirit level on your head.
But being level-headed. Level-headed,
yeah. I don't know if you are level-headed. You're quite impulsive. We're getting off topic. Maybe. What's your best pickup line? What's something that never fails to get a girl with you?
What do you mean with me? I think
it's not going to be with me, is it?
I think if you're just genuine with people, and if you find that person attractive, tell them.
Okay, yeah,
and don't just say like, "Oh yeah, you're well fit."
Or just go up and say, "I find you really attractive."
No, that's like weird. That is. Like you say, like, well, yeah, compliment their eyes, something like that. If you're out there talking,
I think find something to compliment that's not your obvious thing to compliment, because eyes are the first thing. Eyes and smile are the first thing that a girl gets. Go, "Oh, you've got a really pretty smile. Or you've got really pretty eyes." Yeah, you do. Every lad will go, "Oh my god, you've got really nice eyes," and then you're like, "Okay, every other lad has told me that." Even if your eyes aren't that pretty, you just get told it.
Fair enough then.
My girlfriend is in love with the county chairman. What do I do? Oh my god.
Well,
you just let her be in love with him, I think, at this point.
She's only human. I can't believe I just said that. Well, what can I say to that, really? Not a lot. Cut your losses,
I think
perhaps?
The novelty wears off.
Probably.
Quite quick. You just have to...
All right. This doesn't look good.
My friend is being treated badly by her ex/situationship. He cheats and then he apologizes and they get back together. I'm fed up of dealing with her sadness, but what can I do?
What is a situationship?
It's where you've not in a relationship. It's basically like friends with benefits.
That's your problem. Then.
But like you're basically hanging out like you're together, but you're not.
That is probably your problem. You're gonna.
That's not
like blurred.
Did you not hear
blurred lines, aren't they?
Yeah, but it's situationship slash ex. He cheats and then apologizes. So it's ex. So they're basically it sounds like they've been together properly, broken up because he's cheated, and then they're like in the weird like, "Oh, should we get back together? Should we not get back together? Maybe they're sleeping together. Maybe they're talking more." But like he'll apologize for cheating, and then they'll maybe get back together, and then he'll cheat again.
What are we going to do about that?
I think you've still got to support your friend. Like you can't just you can't ditch it. No, it's just you saying my friend gets treated badly by her ex. But she can't be dealing with her sadness anymore. But I think you gotta have a real sit down talk with your friend, as much as they don't want to hear it, and say, "This is your situation, and I'm sick of having to deal with it. But I will still be here." Like you have to. I don't think pulling away from your friend and like never talking to them, because they're obviously going through a horrible time. But at some point, they've got to learn their lesson and just
probably
cut ties.
I think
maybe book a holiday, some time away, reassess the situation, block him while you're away.
Oh, I thought you were going to say with him. I was like,
oh my god, no, not with
that'd
him.
be a lot of money.
Yeah,
to
send
spend
him on a
something
plane
good-
together.
good tongue.
You got to talk to him. But that's my advice. What's your advice, Auntie Hendo?
Be honest with each other, like you say. Tell them that you're going to be there for them, but they need to either buck their ideas up a little bit, make a decision.
I think the right
do it
decision
or
is
not
to
do it.
just leave him at that point, because if you've got back together so many times and they're still cheating, he's clearly not in a position where he wants to be in
At
a
that point.
relationship.
But then if it is one of these situationships, then they need to be clear themselves on what the
Yeah, if you're
boundaries
going to
are.
cut ties, you've got to cut ties. You can't,
Yeah.
like, obviously, if you're in a position where you still got to see them, like, you've got to set boundaries in place. But
especially if you are young farmers, it can be quite difficult because you see
Yeah, you see them
young
every
farmers all
week.
the time. So ending it civilly would be a good place to start.
Or don't end it civilly and just bring up some nice drama for young farmers, because every young farmers likes drama.
They do. When
Maybe
I
take
first
a few weeks off.
Yeah, when I first got in Young Farmers,
Did you do this?
I was told.
Is this about you?
No, it's not about me. I was told never date anyone in your own club because your club is
No,
like.
so you went for every single other girl in every other club.
That's unfair to say.
How many clubs have a girl in them that you slept with out of the
That's not
17?
going on here. Back after a brief interlude.
Someone's just said pineapple on pizza, question mark.
Ooh. Well, I always used to be like, no, keep like sweet and savoury separate.
Don't say.
But I had a piece and wasn't
No.
that bad.
It's soggy. It's like
Well, it depends what time you get to it.
the pineapple's just like juice.
Yeah, but I think once it's gone to the oven, it's just like
No,
dried
it
up,
doesn't
isn't
dry up. It stays like
it? The piece I had
soggy.
wasn't too bad anyway.
I'm a no.
I'm usually
Absolute
too
no.
hungry to actually care what it is.
Do you think that there is a way to work with sheep and your family without having a fallout? No. There's no way to get round shouting at each other when sheep are involved.
Well, it depends how well you work together. If you want to know what you're doing, then it can be pretty.
Yeah, but the sheep are
hard.
never on your level with what you're doing. It's the sheep that cause the issue.
I don't think it is. Sheep are doing what sheep do, which is anything.
Yeah, but that's
causing
the point.
chaos.
You can't predict
But
it.
then it's like what the people are doing. That's what.
But you can't
Your
plan
dad's not
around.
going to shout at you for standing in front of the race if you're not stood in front of the race. Yeah. I mean, if you all know the score.
Yeah, but say I'm stood in a gap. You can't predict what that sheep is going to do.
Do you mean like if you're stood in the gap
yeah,
and they run past
I stood
you
in stand in the gap. I see one sheep start to dart like
I don't
that
know why I'm
way.
looking over there. Like the sheep
No,
there.
I'm stood in the gap. There's sheep coming at me, but
Right.
I need them to go that way. One of them goes as if it's going to try and get past me this way, so I step that way to try and stop that one sheep, and then like two more run past me that way. I'm going to get shouted at for letting those two run past me, but I can't physically be in two places because I can't understand what the sheep are going to do.
I mean, it can be difficult.
Yeah, but it's also,
to
if it's
fall out.
family, like...
Yeah. You end up shouting at each other, don't you?
I don't
If
think
it's your
there's...
friends, friends.
No, if it's
sometimes
friends, you shout even more. I don't think there is a way. But like, the fallout never lasts longer
It
than
shouldn't
like
do.
the day. Like, they might be
It
grumpy
shouldn't
with you
do.
for an afternoon, but yeah, I'd say you have to have a sit down and debrief what went wrong, what can you change for next time. Someone has sent in, my ex-boyfriend has started messaging me back and he's got a girlfriend who also cheats on him. What do I do? I don't think you should message him just because his girlfriend cheats on him.
Well,
He's your ex for a reason.
Are they justifying
I
speaking
think
to him because
well,
ex
yeah.
cheated on him? I wonder if some of these
Maybe.
are actually real or people are just having a laugh.
I'd hope they were real because we've said like no names or anything. They are completely anonymous. So,
Imagine that. So,
but there's so
then
many
again,
people that like other people know that like they're getting cheated on and no one says anything, and it's like, what do you do in that situation where you know it's wrong?
in business, perhaps. I don't know.
It says my ex-boyfriend has started messaging me back. He's
The
got a
boyfriend's
girlfriend.
Messaged her.
Her ex-boyfriend,
Her ex-boyfriend's messaged
Messaged
him
her back.
again, but he's got a girlfriend.
but that girlfriend,
But the
girlfriend cheats on him. But we don't know if he knows that his girlfriend's cheating on him or not. But his ex knows that, who he's now messaging. But like, is he messaging in a way that's flirty, or is he just messaging like
yeah, gotta be
friends?
more clear.
But then at the same time, if it's your ex, why are they messaging you at all? Like, they're your ex.
Reassurance because he got used to you, perhaps. Depends what they're asking about.
Yeah, it depends what you're talking about. But also, like, do
But
you
I'm
tell if you know
guessing-
that his girlfriend's cheating on him? Do you tell him? You're his ex.
But then
so...
they might make out that you're trying to break them
Yeah.
up for your own personal gain.
I think
I mean,
the
if you
best thing
are,
to do
then-
is just to not message him back if he keeps messaging you.
Depends
Just
how you feel
ignore him.
about them.
I
You want them back,
He's-
then shoot your shot.
Why is he your ex in the first place? What made you break up? Because that
Could be
issue.
anything. We'd have to have more information. Couldn't possibly.
I think, don't message him back. Just leave him alone. Like, leave the whole situation alone because you're already involved in it by being his ex. I don't think there's any reason for you to get more involved by talking to him, because when it all blows up, even though you think you've done nothing wrong, that it's just a whole, like, you're suddenly the centre of it, when realistically his girlfriend should be the centre of the drama for cheating on a boyfriend.
Does sound like a mess,
Yeah.
to be fair.
You know all about messes.
Yeah. Stay well clear of them, to be honest. Avoid all costs. Will only get you down. But so do you, though, actually. Speaking of which.
Speaking of mess.
Right in the middle of
I don't think I was on Santa's nice list this year. One last one. What do you do if somebody asks you to meet their parents, but you don't think it's that serious? I think, again, that's just conversation. Like,
be clear. Set boundaries.
it would be hard, though, if you don't think you're there yet, but you're not, you don't want to break up with them or whatever. You don't want to stop seeing them, but
talk about it.
You're not ready to meet their parents. But then they'd probably see that as, what, you don't want to be with me.
Talk about it. Explain that. But then you might not even get that message through.
But
there's no point going and doing something that you're not comfortable with, because, like we said earlier on, that, I don't know, 6 months down the line, maybe not 6 months, but a few months, weeks or whatever down the line, things go wrong because you weren't clear to start with. I can't even remember what the other one said.
Communication is key in
Definitely.
every situation that we've just talked about. Theme of
yeah,
today, communication.
If it's from rounding up sheep to having
Your ex.
pineapple on your pizza.
I think meeting the parents is hard when the younger you are, though. That's the thing. I think as you get older, it's sort of like it's not that serious unless you're in a really, really serious relationship. Like, you're going to get engaged in the next few weeks and you still haven't met their parents. That's a bit. But
there isn't really
meeting the
time,
parents
unless they're
is just like
abroad or something.
It feels daunting, but it is literally just like have a cup of tea, and then the next time you see them, it's less and less scary. But also, like, maybe if you're not ready to meet their parents, then you're just not ready, and you need to tell them that. The only other thing we'd do would be break up with them.
Yeah.
But then I suppose you have to think, why don't you want to meet the parents? Like, what is it in you that's not wanting to meet their parents?
That's true.
Because it could be like, oh, actually, I don't want to be in a relationship with them.
That could be it, and then you don't want to spiral it out of control. Like, you've met the parents, you've done this, you've done that, and then all of a sudden, not that keen. You're
stuck in an actual relationship when really you want to be single. I think that's enough for today. If you have a confession or a dilemma that you want to send in for Hendo to give advice on,
confessions would be good.
Confessions would be good.
Like radio too. The confessions at drive time on the way home.
Listen to radio
that was brilliant. Some of the things that were said on that. Oh, was it Steve? Was it Steve Wright? Something like that?
I don't know.
Drive time?
I don't listen to radio too.
Oh, it was good.
Okay.
Some of the stories they come out with, that would be good. Confessions.
Okay. If you want to give us a confession or a dilemma or an issue that you're having, there's a link in the bio of our Instagram and TikTok. It's completely anonymous, like the form. No emails, no names. Don't put any real names, please, or any details that can give away who a person is or where you live or anything like that.
Very serious.
Yeah. If you do have an actual serious life-threatening issue, this isn't the place, but please contact the relevant services.
We could help, though.
I'll put a list of phone numbers on the screen.
That would be a good idea.
If you need actual serious help.
Well, the numbers come up.
I feel like the most important one is 999.
So I've been Hendo.
And I've been Jess.
Thanks for watching Hendos
Helpline.